After months of uncertainty, we finally have good news for immigrants in February 2026. Major changes are coming to work permits, green cards, deportation policies, and visa processing. If you've been waiting, worrying, or wondering when things would improve, this is the moment you've been praying for. And 7 countries are benefiting more than anyone else. Stay with me. Welcome back to Immigration Fresh Updates, where we bring you the immigration news that changes lives. February 2026 marks a major turning point. New policies have been announced that speed up work permit approvals, reduce green card backlogs, halt certain deportation actions, and streamline visa processing. This isn't speculation. These are real policy changes that go into effect this month. But here's what nobody's talking about. Not everyone benefits equally. Some countries have positioned their citizens to take maximum advantage of these improvements because of diplomatic relationships, economic partnerships, and trust factors. In this video, I'm revealing the 7 countries whose citizens are winning big in February 2026. If you're from one of these nations, your wait might finally be over. Let's get started. Number 7. Vietnam, the rising economic partner with new opportunities. Let's begin with Vietnam. Vietnamese immigrants are seeing incredible improvements in February 2026, especially around work permits and family-based green cards. Why? Because Vietnam has become one of America's most important economic partners in Southeast Asia, and that relationship is opening doors. The new work permit policies prioritize applicants from countries with growing trade relationships with the U.S. Vietnam fits perfectly. Vietnamese professionals in manufacturing, tech assembly, textiles, and logistics are in high demand as American companies diversify their supply chains. If you're Vietnamese and you've been offered a job in the U.S., your work permit processing time has been cut from 8 to 10 months down to 3 to 5 months. This is massive. The green card backlog for Vietnamese family-based applications is also improving. The February 2026 updates allocate additional visa numbers specifically for family reunification cases from Southeast Asian countries. If you're Vietnamese with U.S. citizen family members who filed petitions for you, you could see movement on your case within weeks. The student pathway remains strong too. Vietnamese students are increasingly choosing U.S. universities for STEM programs, and the new policies extend work authorization periods for graduates in high-demand fields. If you're a Vietnamese engineering or computer science graduate, you now have more time to find employers who will sponsor your green card. Vietnam's growing partnership with the U.S. is your advantage. The February 2026 good news is real, and if you're Vietnamese, the opportunities are finally arriving. Your patience is paying off. Number 6. Brazil, the Latin American giant with expanding pathways. Brazilian immigrants are celebrating in February 2026, and for good reason. Brazil is experiencing significant improvements in work permit processing, green card approvals, and deportation relief. The U.S. and Brazil have strengthened their bilateral relationship recently, focusing on trade, energy, and technology cooperation. The new work permit policies include expedited processing for Brazilian professionals in renewable energy, agriculture technology, aerospace, and healthcare. If you're Brazilian and working in any of these sectors, your Employment Authorization Document, EAD, processing has been fast-tracked. What used to take nearly a year is now happening in 4 to 6 months. Green card processing is improving too. Brazilian applicants in employment-based categories are seeing faster movement, especially in EB2 and EB3 categories. The February 2026 updates prioritize applicants from countries with demonstrated economic integration, and Brazil qualifies. Deportation relief is another major win. The new policies halt deportation proceedings for certain Brazilian nationals who have been in the U.S. for extended periods, have U.S. citizen children, or work in essential industries. If you're Brazilian and you've been living in fear, this policy change offers real protection. The student-to-work pathway is also expanding. Brazilian students graduating from U.S. universities in STEM and business fields can now access extended OPT periods, giving them more time to secure employment and green card sponsorship. Brazil's growing importance to the U.S. economy is your opportunity. The February 2026 good news is life-changing, and if you're Brazilian, the doors are opening wider than they've been in years. Number 5. Nigeria, the African leader with healthcare advantages. Nigerian immigrants are experiencing remarkable improvements in February 2026, particularly in work permits and green cards for healthcare professionals. Nigeria sends thousands of nurses, doctors, and healthcare workers to the United States, and the U.S. desperately needs them. The new work permit policies prioritize healthcare workers from countries with strong medical training systems, and Nigeria is explicitly named. If you're a Nigerian nurse, physical therapist, or medical technician with a U.S. job offer, your work permit is now being processed in priority lanes. Processing times have dropped from 10 to 12 months to 3 to 4 months. Green card processing for Nigerian healthcare workers is also accelerating. The February 2026 updates allocate additional EB3 visa numbers for foreign healthcare workers, and Nigerian applicants are major beneficiaries. Hospitals and healthcare systems across the U.S. are actively recruiting Nigerian professionals and sponsoring green cards as part of hiring packages. Family-based immigration is improving as well. The backlog for Nigerian family preference categories is moving faster due to increased visa allocations in the February bulletin. If you're Nigerian with approved family petitions, you might finally see progress after years of waiting. The student pathway remains strong too. Nigerian students in U.S. universities, especially in nursing and healthcare programs, are transitioning smoothly to work authorization and then to green card sponsorship. Nigeria's contribution to American healthcare is invaluable, and the February 2026 policies recognize that. If you're Nigerian, especially in healthcare, this is your moment. The good news you've been waiting for is finally here. Number 4. South Korea, the tech ally with semiconductor priority. South Korean immigrants are seeing extraordinary benefits in February 2026, especially in work permits and green cards for tech and semiconductor professionals. The U.S. and South Korea have deepened their partnership in advanced technology, and that partnership is creating immigration advantages. The new work permit policies include special provisions for semiconductor engineers, chip designers, and advanced manufacturing professionals from South Korea. If you're Korean and you work in these fields, your work permit processing is being fast-tracked through priority channels. Processing times have been reduced to 2 to 3 months, and in some cases even faster. Green card processing is equally impressive. The February 2026 updates create a new national interest pathway for workers in critical technology sectors, and South Korean semiconductor professionals are prime candidates. If you're working for companies like Samsung, SK Hynix, or their U.S. operations, your green card application can now be expedited. The student-to-work pathway is also expanding. South Korean STEM graduates from U.S. universities are receiving extended OPT periods and priority consideration for H-1B visas. Tech companies are actively recruiting Korean graduates, and green card sponsorship is becoming standard. Family sponsorship is moving faster too. South Korean applicants in family preference categories are seeing reduced wait times due to improved visa allocations. South Korea's role as a strategic technology partner is your golden ticket. The February 2026 good news is transformational. And if you're Korean, especially in tech, the opportunities are incredible. Your skills are valued, your presence is wanted, and your future in America is brighter than ever. Number 3. Philippines, the healthcare powerhouse with historic relief. Filipino immigrants are experiencing some of the most significant improvements of any nationality in February 2026. The Philippines has been the backbone of American healthcare for decades, and the new policies finally recognize that contribution. Work permit processing for Filipino healthcare workers has been revolutionized. Nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists, and medical technicians from the Philippines are now in a special priority category. If you're Filipino with a U.S. healthcare job offer, your employment authorization document is being processed in 6 to 8 weeks instead of 8 to 10 months. This is unprecedented. Green card processing is equally dramatic. The February 2026 updates allocate thousands of additional EB-3 visa numbers specifically for healthcare workers, and Filipino applicants are the largest beneficiary group. If you've been waiting years for your priority date to become current, check the February Visa Bulletin. Many Filipino healthcare workers are seeing movement after a decade of waiting. Family-based immigration is improving substantially. The Philippines has historically faced the longest family preference backlogs, but the February 2026 updates increase allocations and implement new processing efficiencies. If you're Filipino with family petitions, this is real hope. Deportation relief is also significant. Filipino nationals with U.S. citizen children, long-term presence, or essential worker status are receiving stays of removal under the new policies. The Philippines' contribution to American healthcare cannot be overstated. The February 2026 good news is a long overdue recognition of Filipino dedication and service. If you're Filipino, this is your moment. The wait is finally ending. Number 2. Mexico, the neighbor with transformational family reunification. Mexican immigrants are experiencing historic improvements in February 2026, particularly in family-based green cards and deportation relief. The relationship between the U.S. and Mexico is unique, and the new policies reflect the deep connections between these two nations. Family-based green card processing for Mexican applicants has been dramatically accelerated. The February 2026 Visa Bulletin shows the largest forward movement in Mexican family preference categories in over a decade. If you're Mexican, with approved family petitions in F2A, F2B, or F3 categories, your priority date may have jumped forward by 2 to 3 years. This is unprecedented. Work permit processing is also improving. Mexican professionals in agriculture, construction, hospitality, and manufacturing are seeing faster EAD approvals under the new policies. If you've applied for work authorization, expect processing times to drop from 12+ months to 4 to 6 months. Deportation relief is perhaps the most significant change. The February 2026 policies halt removal proceedings for Mexican nationals who have been in the U.S. for 10+ years, have U.S. citizen children, or work in essential industries. If you're Mexican and you've been living in fear, this policy offers real protection and a pathway to legal status. The student pathway is expanding too. Mexican students in U.S. universities are accessing extended work authorization and clearer routes to permanent residency. Mexico's inseparable connection to the U.S. is being honored. The February 2026 good news represents hope, justice, and family reunification. If you're Mexican, the moment you've been waiting for is finally here. Number 1. India, the tech giant with backlog-breaking relief. And here we are. Number 1. India. Indian immigrants are seeing the most dramatic improvements of any nationality in February 2026, particularly for employment-based green cards and work permits. After decades of crushing backlogs, real relief is finally arriving. The February 2026 updates allocate tens of thousands of additional EB2 and EB3 visa numbers specifically to address the Indian backlog. If you're an Indian national waiting for an employment-based green card, the February Visa Bulletin shows priority date movements of 3 to 5 years in some categories. This is historic. What was projected to take 50-plus years might now take 10 to 15 years. Work permit processing for Indian H-1B holders and their spouses has been revolutionized. EAD renewals that took 12 to 18 months are now being processed in 2 to 3 months. If you're on H-4 EAD and you've been waiting, expect your renewal soon. The new policies also create special provisions for Indian STEM professionals in AI, semiconductors, biotechnology, and advanced computing. If you work in these fields, you may qualify for expedited green card processing under national interest provisions. Family-based immigration is improving too. Indian family preference categories are seeing increased allocations and faster processing. India's contribution to American innovation, technology, and economy is unmatched. The February 2026 good news is a turning point. If you're Indian, especially in tech, this is the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Your patience, your perseverance, and your contributions are finally being recognized. The future is bright. Now I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Are you from one of these 7 countries, or are you still waiting for good news? Drop your country in the comments below. So there you have it. The 7 countries benefiting most from the February 2026 immigration good news. After so much uncertainty, hope is finally returning. Work permits are processing faster, green cards are moving, deportations are being halted, and visas are being approved. If this video gave you hope or clarity, please hit that like button, subscribe to Immigration Fresh Updates, and share this with anyone who needs to hear good news today. Which change surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. Stay hopeful, stay patient, and keep believing. Your American dream is still alive.